note the apology of Honorable Ngwezi, please. Thank you.
Honorable Ngwezi's apologies noted. Any other? I will try. If we are okay, put item number 2 for your consideration, the agenda. Is it okay? Can I have a hand?
Madam Speaker, it's Natasha.
Good morning, Mayor Mazoni.
Good morning, Madam Speaker. I'm afraid I had trouble connecting. Madam Speaker, I'd like to move for the adoption of the agenda, but as I do so, may I ask if it's been raised yet the President's joint sitting today?
It has been raised. I think we will discuss it.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Then I move for adoption of the agenda, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a seconder?
Yes. Kwangwa second. Okay.
Kwangwa seconds. The agenda is adopted. I take you to item number 3, the minutes of the 8th of October. Can we have them on the screen?
Minutes.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, there are no corrections on page 1, I take?
Madam Speaker, I don't know what page, but item 5.
Okay. Let's, that was page 1.
Okay.
On page 2, do we have any issues? Corrections?
Can you see the booting?
No, my correction would pass because somebody was quick on the draw, Madam Speaker. The spelling of Caso has been changed to X.
Yes,
F on mine. Yes. Good, well done.
All right. Page, that was page 2, page 3. Okay. Yes. No comment on page 3. Can we move, please? No comment on page 4. Okay, can I take you to page 5? And page 6. And the last page. Thank you very much. Is there any member calling for the adoption of this minute uncorrected because the matter which that this thing was going to raise was corrected?
I move
the chief whip of the majority moves, the chief whip of the minority seconds. Thank you very much. We go to matters arising. Any matter arising, honorable members?
Madam Speaker, it's Natasha.
Yes, ma'am. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Madam Speaker, last week we discussed the matter of the public protector, and you informed us that Parliament was in the process of putting together the panel. We now know that the court case has found in favour of Parliament's procedure. And I was wondering, Madam Speaker, if you would be so kind as to give us an update as to when we can expect to receive the names of the members who form part of that panel and a timeline for the panel's procedural work to be completed. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, ma'am. Indeed, you should, Majudina, on the same matter.
Matters and put them in that order. Following on what Honorable said, the following matters are arising from the minutes: the program for public hearings, the second The second one is the multi-party panel for Secretary of Parliament recruitment. The third one is the work program.
Sorry, Madam Speaker, I think the Chief Whip's connection is very bad.
Yes, your connection is very bad. We can hardly hear you. Awuvakali.
Ayibo, ngiyasebenza kaloku.
Kusetshenziswa i-weather.
Can you hear me now?
Phinda
Is
sisiphi.
it better now, Speaker?
Yes, yes.
I was saying, Honorable Speaker, the first one is the program for public hearings. The second one is multi-party panel for Secretary of Parliament recruitment process. The third one is sectoral work to be programmed. The fourth one is lock up for MTBPS. Those are the four matters arising that I've identified. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
The 51 is the NYDA progress report.
Okay. Any other?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Singh.
There's one other, sorry, and that's a question of the process on the appointment of the director of the PBO. Having read media reports, perhaps we need to discuss it here, how we take it forward.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Speaker?
Yes.
Swati?
Yes, that is what?
I'm sorry, I couldn't see the agenda to ascertain whether the letter requesting the postponement of from the Minister of Finance is on the agenda. Now, one presumes that will come under the lockup for the medium-term budget policy statement, the request for a postponement of a week.
Okay, yeah, it wasn't on the agenda, but let's discuss it where you are suggesting.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Ndade Kaso, do you want to come in? The first matter that arose was on the panel for the public protector's hearing process. Kaso, unmute.
Madam
Thank
Speaker.
you, ma'am.
Oh.
Is there another matter we're giving out before we respond?
I wanted to request your indulgence, Madam Speaker, before Ubab Kaso Engena.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. It's on the matter of the public protector.
Yes, sir.
Member Zone has just raised it. I wanted to check whether the process of appointing the independent panel to remove the public protector is also subject to the vetting process of the panel members. In our previous meeting, the Speaker expressed the need for the outcome of this process to be conducted thoroughly. So members of the independent panel, I think, shouldn't they be also stand up for scrutiny themselves? That's what I wanted to check, Madam Speaker.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we will answer.
All right. May I proceed?
Did it also start off?
Yes, ma'am. Honorable members will remember that parties had been asked to make nominations. That process was concluded. Speaker then applied herself in terms of the names that had been submitted. And the Speaker has since made a decision on the names of the panelists. However, there is one step that is remaining because the panelists involve a judge or two. the Speaker has to consult with the Chief Justice. That's what the rules require. And that process is currently underway for the Speaker to consult with the Chief Justice. And once the Chief Justice has expressed his view on the matter, the Speaker will then be in a position to announce the names of the panelists. Now, in terms of the planning and the plans in place, we are thinking that the panel should be able to start, all things being equal, by the 1st of November. And honorable members will be aware that the panel has 30 days within which to conduct its business. So the process is receiving the attention that it is required. And as part of the appointment process, the panelists will also be asked to declare that they have no conflict of interest in the process. So, honorable members, that is where things are at the moment. Because there is interaction with the panelists or potential panelists, and there will be interaction with the Chief Justice, we would not advise that at this point the names be made public, because the process is still, consultative process is still underway. Thank you.
And just to add on for maybe elaboration on Daten Tombela, parties were requested and parties obliged. And parties will remember that we came back for a second round of submissions of names, because amongst the first names, exciting as they were, as we went through them one by one, we picked up and they also declared their conflict of interest. And therefore, we sifted out and were able to arrive at a particular group of names. Just as we were starting that process, some of them were then pulled out because they were now getting into cases affecting either of the parties involved in this matter here. So yes, some sifting has been done. Now, these are senior advocates and judges. So your vetting process is done different than if we are going to run to the Intelligence Committee and say, do this and do that. Because if a member, a senior council member, or a judge does not declare their conflict, then we've got issues. And we must say that all of them have been upfront to say, this and that, and therefore I think I can't participate and don't. And that is why the process has been long. So to get back to Memazoni, yes, Memazoni, as soon as we have cleared matters up with the Chief Justice in particular, we will be getting going. But also because of the interest this matter is drawing, we must say that the panel does not actually remove the public protector. Looks for whether or not there is a case, which Parliament must process, and we are very thorough about that, because already there are tensions. I'm supposed to be the enemy of the public protector. I don't know why. I'm just doing my job. I have no personal interest at all in the public protector. I have never met her before she became a public protector and I saw her. So I have absolutely no interest, and I live by what I said earlier on. I try to be as honest as I can in both my private and public life. So that is where the matter is, Memazoni. We're hoping that as soon as we've cleared matters with the Chief Justice, will be able to move on this matter. Then there was a question on the multi-party panel. The multi-party panel, from the last secretary, we went through for the multi-party interviewing panel. The putting together of the adverts and the recruitment process, that is an administrative function which Parliament does, and it is in the process of being done. members will remember that we put up an advert, but even before we did that, it had come to our notice that, in fact, the Secretary for Parliament was the highest paid person in South Africa. So we had to go back, do a little research, and bring the salary down to what is normal, what the DGs were getting. The former Secretary of Parliament was getting paid more than the DG of the country, the DG of DGs. So we had to do what is not nice, bring it into line with what we think DGs must earn in this country. So that is done. As soon as we reached what they would call it, a sifting process, the shortlisting process. We actually thought we were running into trouble, but there were one or two people who we thought qualified. But just as we thought, okay, we can have a race for the position, the one person withdrew, and we were left with one potential person to interview. Now you also know that is a dangerous path. So we thought, no, let's go back. Let us recruit. We must be honest with you, a lot of people apply, but they don't qualify for the job. And we've got to be extra careful with all the drama we have had in this position in Parliament. So we would beg parties to be understanding that we are a little bit slow, but we want to be thorough in getting this. And as soon as because now we decided to go, what do they call it? When you go...
Talent search.
Now we are going to talent search. And as soon as we can get candidates, we will come back to parties for us to have that multi-party panel, which will be sitting there to interview the potential candidates for the job. That's all I can say on the matter. That can I return the rest of the issues raised, Kaso, to you?
Indeed, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in relation to public hearings, the framework for public hearings, we have since circulated a document to honourable members. Obviously, we don't expect that document to be considered in this meeting, but it was circulated, I think, this morning, which outlines what committees could do during public hearings and in compliance with level 1 regulations. So that document is now available to honourable members. In relation to the MTBPS and the lockup, specifically the lockup, Madam Speaker, I have been advised by the Treasury that there will be a lockup session. The lockup session there will be two. There will be a lockup session for honourable members of Parliament, not virtual, but physical, possibly in E249 or Old Assembly Chamber, but there will be a lockup session. There will also be a lockup session for the PGA, the Parliamentary Journalists who are in Parliament, Press Gallery. So that is on the lockup session for the MTBPS. In regard to the NYDA, I am aware that the committee, the portfolio committee, has since written to the Speaker, I think only yesterday, to seek guidance on how it should proceed with the matter before it. Honourable members will recall that the matter was referred back to the committee by the House. So guidance will be given in terms of how the matter must be processed going forward. But the committee is seeking guidance on the matter. So the issue is receiving consideration. Madam Speaker, I am not briefed on the director matter of the Budget Office, except to say that there's currently an acting director. One of the deputy directors is acting as director in that office. But in terms of the recruitment process, I don't have the latest information there. I suspect that Mr. Frolick might be able to assist. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Mr. Frolik, are you in?
Yes, Madam Speaker. If I may comment on the director of the PBO, I know that committee that was tasked with their work have completed their work, Madam Speaker, and they will be communicating or has communicated already to your office and that of the chairperson of the NCOP on the processes that they have followed.
In short, we do have candidates and the interviews are supposed to start. Am I correct? Because that's the latest I have, is that we are ready, we have a list of potential candidates, and those interviews should have been held already or
Yes.
are in the process of being held.
No, the interview process has been completed, Madam Speaker. There was a list of, I think it was 6 or 8 different people that were interviewed, and that committee completed that part of their work, and they must then inform the speaker and the chairperson of council ultimately on the outcome of the interview process that took place. They completed it more than a week ago, Madam Speaker.
Okay. There you are, members. Yes, that
Singh. Yeah, Madam Speaker, the reason, thank you to Mr. Frolik for that information. The reason I raised that because I read something in the media about concerns by certain civil society organizations. And all I'm saying for now is that when the matter comes before you and the chairperson of the NCOP, I think you have to take note of that and perhaps tell us how you will react to those submissions that were made. Thank you.
We will.
Speaker.
That is what?
Thank you. I don't know if I can deal with the medium-term budget yet, or are you there yet?
You could come in.
Speaker? No, I just understand that there was a request for a postponement, and I might be incorrect, but maybe Mr. Klaassen wants to respond to that as well. I see his hand is up,
Yes.
and it's not unique, but it does put pressure on the other finance committees. So maybe I would leave it in your hands, Speaker. I just wanted to raise that issue for clarification.
Thank you very much. Did Klaassen come in?
Madam Speaker, I thought the matter of the MTBBS will come up when we deal with the program, because it affects the program directly. So the intention was really to deal with it when we get to that point, Madam Speaker.
Is that fine with you?
Thank you. That's fine. Speaker. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Is there any other matter? There is still the matter of sexual work being programmed. Ndate Ngwangwa?
No. It's just to perhaps add to the report given to us by the chair of chairs. I think he maybe forgot one aspect with respect to the appointment of the director of the PBO. I think there are also the processes where they also require security clearance for the candidate. Yes, and I think that communication has been sent to you. I thought maybe I should also place that on record so that it's not forgotten.
That communication was sent. We have been interacting with the Minister of State Security because they usually delay us in speeding up the clearance. We have had the assurance that they will do their best. We've actually started asking to have a specific people at our disposal anytime we need clearance because they tend to drag it. So that is under control also. We do have a matter which was raised in the Dekaso on sexual committee needing to be programmed. I don't know if Chief Whip wants to elaborate and then we can talk about that.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on the minutes, the matter was raised that there are sporadic events or activities on sectoral work which are not reflecting on the program, and you made an undertaking that will be meeting with the chair of the NCOP to take up the matter but you are in agreement with us to say, though each and every activity that is taking place in Parliament or through Parliament committees must be programmed. So I just wanted to check if there is progress on that. Have you met with the chair of NCOP, and what is your guidance on the matter?
Thank you very much. Indeed, we have met several times in the last 2 weeks with the chair, and this matter has our attention. We couldn't meet with both the deputy secretary and the deputy chair because the deputy chair, in our understanding, has been indisposed. But we do need to clear this up with them. Not only is my personal view a little bit on the offside, it is also that it is not just about programming, it is also about budgeting for all the events that take place, because nothing happens for mahala. And I come from the old school that says if you are going to spend 10 rands of government money, you must have a little item that says you are only spending 10 rands. And if you go off the 10 rands, somebody must give you approval for that. But we have had a conversation with Ndati Tsenudi on this matter, and we think that we need to have a fuller meeting where we can then say what is the program of the sectoral parliaments in this year, so that they are reflected and all the interested public representatives can participate if they have the time and the wish to do so. I don't know, Ndati Tsenudi, if you want to say anything on this matter.
No, Madam Chair, I agree with you, and that already in the proposed program on the agenda, there are already elements of programming there, but the manner in which it appears is as an NCOP activity. It has often been communicated wrongly like that when it's a parliamentary process and needs to be taken on board in those things. And we're looking forward to having meetings with you as EXCO so that we discuss it and share some of the views on it. We agree with you that it's necessary that we sing from the same song sheet, as I would say. So we're looking forward to those discussions.
No, thank you, DS. But strictly speaking, the NCOP can develop their own program. They are in autonomous house. But where we have joint business, all of us must be on the same page. Ne?
No, I'm just concerned. Sorry, Speaker,
yes,
the Deputy Speaker said we must sing from the same song sheet. As long as that song sheet doesn't come from the ANC, we can gladly sing.
Yeah, no. It must be the South African song sheet. I agree with you in that.
Madam Speaker, don't spoil Honorable Kwankwa. It's a song sheet. Song sheet is a song sheet. You mustn't start with labeling it when nobody did.
No. It must be a South African song sheet. That is what we must emphasize. We must all, as public representatives, have the same song sheet. I think that is what he wanted to say. Is there any other matter which I have not dealt with on the matters arising? The MDA process, did we deal with it? That is Castle.
Which one, Madam Speaker?
MDA process, that's what I've noted.
And NYDA, ma'am. NYDA. I've
NYDA. And oh yeah, yes. NYDA. Yeah. Now the NYDA, you did give a report. We're waiting for the committee, but it is also public knowledge that I'm getting weekly correspondence from South Africans of all colors and beliefs and so on, who some of them supporting the process as it was done, and some of them saying that process was flawed, redo the process. So indeed, we must have a sit down with the committee and see how we take this matter forward and be open about it. Those were
the same matter.
Yes,
on the
ma'am.
same matter. Honorable Speaker, should we await guidance from the presiding officers, or is it possible that you communicate with us as parties to make our suggestion on how to take the matter forward and make a submission to your office? Thank you.
What we have done thus far, honorable members, is to refer all the correspondence, good and negative, to the committee. Because we thought as they chart the way forward as a committee and come back to us on a recommendation, they will take into consideration what is said by South Africans out there about the process. They have not yet responded to me, at least in the class. I have not seen the responses. But then whether they do or they don't, we will sit down, and I'm hoping that the committee will respond formally to us. Then we can come back and say, we think party leaders, this is the direction that we must take on this, and we can have a discussion on that. So I think that it does merit giving the committee the chance to respond to all the letters that have been referred to them, and second step being a meeting amongst ourselves to say, if things are like this, which direction are we going? But as the presiding officers, we will also be meeting to say, what would we put on the table when we meet with your good selves? Thank
Speaker,
you, ma'am.
Can I come in as a person who
raised?
Yeah, Speaker, thanks very much for the clarification. Babu Kaso also tried to explain the process, and you also added and elaborate on the matter. But Speaker, what is confusing is that we don't know why the committee withdrew this motion from Parliament, from the NA to be processed. And now what I'm not getting from you, Speaker, are they starting the process all over again? And what is the time frame, Speaker? I agree with you that you are also sharing with them the letters that you are receiving every week. But what I'm not clear about, where is the process now? Are they starting the process all over again, or what is happening? So as we are getting those letters from the public, it's unfortunate that as members of Parliament, we also not have a clue in terms of this matter. Speaker, if you can share with us. I agree with the Chief Whip of the ANC to say that political parties as well must be involved to know, because this does not belong only to the committee, but also to the Parliament at large. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Klaso, I see your hand.
Yes, Madam Speaker. No, just to clarify, Madam Speaker, that the committee did not withdraw its report. The House referred it back to the committee for further consideration. That's number one. Two, the committee has now written to seek guidance on the matter, and guidance will be given to the committee. And now the Chief Whip has proposed that maybe parties could also be consulted. Speaker will make a determination on how to engage with the correspondence from the committee. So the matter is indeed before the committee at the moment, Honorable Mkhalipi, but the committee is saying please guide us on how to deal with the issue, and guidance will be given. Thank you, ma'am.
And I think we must be honest, it's the first time such a report is referred back by the House back to the committee. Usually the committee makes their report and the House either adopts or rejects. In this case, there was a please go and reprocess this matter. So we will come back. And I think that is the reason why we are saying we will also be talking to party leaders, because this is a departure from the way of doing things when it comes to putting together structures by Parliament. Is that, can I conclude that we are done with matters arising, honorable members? Thank you very much. can we go to item number 5, the report from committee section? Ntate.
Good morning, Madam Speaker, honorable members and colleagues. The committee report will start on slide number 7. On this slide, Madam Speaker, it is the budget instruments that will be tabled together with the MTBPS. Because of the current developments that the tabling will be postponed, the dates that are on the slide will be affected. But for now, Madam Speaker, we can indicate that the following budget instruments will be tabled. That will be the revised fiscal framework to be processed by the Standing Committee on Finance, the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill to be processed by the Standing Committee on Appropriations, Adjustment Appropriation Bill to be processed by the Standing Committee on Appropriations, proposed allocations for 2021-22 to be processed by the Standing Committee on Appropriations, Tax Laws Amendment Bill to be processed by the Standing Committee on Finance, Tax Laws Administration Bill to be processed by the Standing Committee on Finance, Rates and Monetary Amounts Bill also to be processed by the Standing Committee on Finance. The next update is on slide number 17, Madam Speaker. On this slide, it is the Criminal Law, Sexual Offences and Related Matters Amendment Bill. We are showing the following updates on this slide. The public hearings are scheduled for the 20th and the 21st of October. The departmental response on the 28th of October. Further deliberations on the 3rd, the 4th, and the 6th of November. The next update is on slide number 19, Madam Speaker. It is the Domestic Violence Amendment Bill before PC on Justice and Correctional Services. The public hearings are scheduled for the 23rd of October. The departmental responses on the 30th of October. Deliberations on the 10th and the 11th of November. And the adoption on the 18th of November. The next update, Madam Speaker, is on slide number 33. On this slide, Madam Speaker, it is Economic Regulation of Transport Bill before PC on Transport. The update is on the 21st, the 23rd, and the 28th of October. The committee will have public hearings and deliberations on the 10th, the 11th, and the 17th of November. The next update is on slide number 38. It's on slide number 34, sorry, Madam Speaker. That is the National Road Traffic Amendment Bill before PC on Transport. The committee had briefings on the 13th of October, and from the 25th of October up to the 20th of November, the committee will be calling for public submissions. The next update is on slide number 38. That is the Children's Amendment Bill before PC on Social Development. The committee is planning to send adverts from the 16th of October to the 27th of November, and the public hearings are planned for February and March 2021, and deliberations with the department in April 2021. The next update is on slide number 44, Madam Speaker. That is the matter before PC on Justice and Correctional Services. That is the determination of the salary, benefits, and allowances of the Deputy Public Protector. The committee is planning briefings on the 16th of October. The next update is on slide number 46. That is the Central Drug Authority matter before PC on Social Development. The committee is planning for the interviews from the 3rd up to the 5th of November. The interviews will be held in Parliament, and the deliberations are scheduled for the 11th of November. The next update is on slide number 48, Madam Speaker. That is the ad hoc committee to appoint the Auditor General. The committee had deliberations on the 14th, and the committee is planning for further deliberations and adoption of the report on the 20th of October. The next update is on slide number 49. That is the matter of the director for PBO. Already members have reflected on that, and the House Chair has also indicated that the interviews have been concluded. What is left is for the vetting results so that the committee can now finalize the matter and submit the report. The meeting that was scheduled for the 13th has been postponed because the vetting results have not yet been received, Madam Speaker. The next update is on slide number 50. That is the international trade agreement before PC on mineral resources and energy. The committee has concluded the report on the 13th. The next update is on slide number 51. That is the filling of vacancies of the National Youth Development Board. The members have already reflected on this matter. The committee, as indicated, is awaiting for the guidance from the Office of the Speaker, and based on the response, the committee will start the process and the program will be submitted later. The next update, Madam Speaker, is on slide number 52. That is the matter before PC on police, appointment of the National Forensic Oversight Ethics Board. The referral was received on the 12th of October. The committee is still to schedule this matter. This concludes our presentation, Madam Speaker. Honorable members, I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable members, the floor is yours. Do I have any hand? I can't see any. Is it, does this mean that we concur with the report and we are fine and we can proceed to the next item?
We concur. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Ndate Swart. Thank you, Ndate Tau. We then proceed to item number 6, Bill's Office, please.
Good morning, Speaker, and good morning, members. I will be presenting for Mr. Neil Bell from the Bills Office. He is attending the NCOP Programming Committee. If I may ask that the slides be put up for the members so that I can speak to that presentation, please. While they're putting it up, most of the matters on the presentation have already been addressed by the committee section, so I will try not to repeat that. On the second slide, there we are referring to the bills that are before Parliament, and I think the detail was already given by committee section, so I will not go into further detail on this. On the next slide, we are dealing with the legislative program, speaking to the LOGB legislative program, the bills that we were promised, and you will see that 13 have already been introduced, 3 have been certified, and on 6 October they've already dealt with the money bills part of that, and there are 10 bills with the presidency for assent. One of these is the Judicial Matters Amendment Bill, where there's also a constitutional deadline, Prescription in Criminal Matters, the Sexual Offences Amendment Bill, and the 2 Disaster Management Tax Relief Bills. On the next slide, we are referring to the tax bills, and in this regard, as it has already been indicated by the committee section, these bills are being worked on. The last slide shows the bills that are certified, and what I can just add to this slide on the bills that have been certified is that the Expropriation Amendment Bill has been announced in the ATC yesterday in respect of the Joint Rule 159 notice. Thank you, Speaker. That is all from the Bills Office. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The floor is yours, honorable members. I don't see any hand. I take it that we We are satisfied with what has been presented. Ma'am Kalipe, are you taking the floor? I see your mic. Oh,
No,
okay.
it's a mistake.
Thank you, ma'am. If that is the case, honorable members, we can then move on to item number 7, the program.
Madam Speaker.
Yes, Ndadis Kaso.
Madam Speaker, apologies. An amended draft agenda was put on the screen. Item number 7 is joint sitting scheduled for today.
Okay, yes. I'm looking at the old one, the joint sitting. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
And
We
I
are
think
on
Chief
the
Whip.
joint sitting.
Yes, Chief Whip would lead there. Thanks.
Okay, Chief Whip, you have the floor. Chief Whip of the majority party. Mayor Jordina, has your connection collapsed?
Speaker Julius here.
Yes, Ndadi Julius.
I have just noted that the Chief Whip is currently live on television, so she might have left us for a while. Thanks.
Television. I'm not live on any television.
Okay.
I'm not live on television. What?
I was asking myself to get
that was a quick response. Thanks.
Madam Speaker, this is the problem of multitasking by Honorable Julius. Multitasking is not a good idea, generally speaking.
You have the floor. Julius.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on this matter of a joint sitting, in the Chief Whip's Forum, we discussed the matter and made clear recommendations. There were two main recommendations. One was a consideration for parties to respond on the address by the President immediately after the President addressed this afternoon. The second one was a possibility of rescheduling the matter to a later date. Consultation has been done on the matter, and the recommendation and strong view is that this matter be rescheduled for later debate in the House. We further proposed that the programming committee must also look at the date when can that be scheduled on the agenda. But today there will be no responses or debate on the address. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Ma'am Jordina, you say that the Chief Whips have deliberated on this matter?
Yes.
Okay.
Madam Speaker.
Any other member? Okay, Mayor Mazoni Ndati Singh, in that order.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I think the term consultation is used in a highly coincidental fashion in this particular regard. I would not, in fact, I would say that the Chief Whips were not consulted in this regard. I was yesterday consulting with Mr. Kaso, in fact, regarding whether or not we would treat today as a debate or whether we would treat it in the same manner as we would an executive statement, because I think we can all agree that it's an unprecedented move that the President called for a joint sitting outside of a SONA debate. Now, quite frankly, to say that there was consultation is not the case. There was a brief discussion touching on it at the Chief Whips Forum, but certainly people's views were not aired correctly. Speaker, I must air my extreme concern at the fact that we are going to have what is akin now to an executive statement in the House by the President, and that parties will not be allowed to react to this. Now, unless we do what we do for SONA, which is schedule a debate on the particular matter the following week, I think that we will find ourselves in quite a bit of trouble, quite frankly, because this is not the way Parliament should be conducting itself. And the President his address today, quite frankly, should have been treated as an executive statement. And as we know, things get lost over a period of time. So, Madam Speaker, I would sincerely move that if this decision has now been taken, that there will be no declarations as per an executive statement today, that we urgently schedule time next week and as early next week as possible for a debate on what the President says today. The matter is too urgent and is of too much public importance for Parliament not to give it the necessary consideration. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much.
Speaker, can I something here? Can I just clarify something so that
can we take the list and you will get your chance? Ndade Swat, I think you were next. Mem Kalipi said, and then Ndade Singh, I'm sorry. Yes, Ndade Singh, take the floor.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I know Swat and I get confused quite a bit of the time.
And I don't know why.
Maybe because of the S. We start with the S. But Madam Speaker, may I apologize for not having been able to participate in the Chief Whip's Forum on Tuesday and say things that might have been discussed there. But however, I want to at the very outset say that I was rather surprised to learn that this discussion of contribution by political parties was taking place at the Chief Whip's Forum on Tuesday, because I took it for granted that when the President would make such a statement to the country, to Parliament in particular, and not just on television and other communication media, that we as Parliament, let alone political parties, would get an opportunity to respond. But having said that, Honourable Speaker, I think it's very, very important that Parliament does not abdicate its role and allows political parties to respond. We cannot have the executive taking decisions on whatever matter, although they may have constitutional right to do so. Parliament and the legislatures have to be involved, because at the end of the day, whatever comes up from the President will have to be translated into legislation. And it's Parliament that will have to consider adjustments to budgets and adjustments to legislation, etc. We do know, Honourable Speaker, that the President in the beginning of the lockdown was in serious consultation with Labour and business and political party leaders. But over some time that stopped. And political party leaders have not been consulted on the different levels for whatever reason. So I think this is our opportunity to contribute to this debate, to make suggestions, and for the executive to take our suggestions seriously before they put a final thing to the country. So I would agree with Honourable DA Member Matsoni that we have to schedule this discussion or debate sooner rather than later. And if we have to shift Tuesday, then we must do so. In consultation with the NCOP, so that political parties can respond and the President could then respond to the suggestion of political parties. That would be my submission, Honourable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ma'am Kalipi?
Thank you very much, Speaker. It looked like you are going to say the same thing as the matter was discussed on the Chief Whip's Forum yesterday. And we said, as political parties in the Chief Whip's Forum, knowing very well that you can't take decision in the Chief Whip's Forum, but we persuade one another to say that the President is going to talk to both houses about a very important matter, which is about addressing the ailing economy of the country. So it can be correct that the President will just come and speak to us as members of Parliament about the very important matter that the country is facing with, and that's it. And I think the approach that the Chief Whip of the ANC was also portraying yesterday was very correct to say, according to the program in front of the Chief Whip's Forum, is the only president that is going to talk. So therefore, these discussions will be taken to the presiding officers, and then we are going to get a feedback, of which we did. We got a feedback that was sent to us, but said that this matter will be further discussed here today. So in my mind, Speaker, I thought that we are going to be provided with a date, because I thought everyone have seen the fact of the matter that we can't allow the president just to speak. So the president rather go and speak to the nation through media, not to parliament, because now what is the use for the president to come and speak to members of parliament for both houses, and there's no remarks, there's no engagement towards this matter that is faced with the country. So therefore, I thought on my brain, Speaker, today the presiding officers or the Speaker of Parliament will say that if the debate can't take place today, so the debate will be scheduled for next week or something, in order for the president to come and reply. So now we are still told that no, we are still going to come back later with a date, of which I don't think is a correct approach, Speaker. So let us reconsider, let us make it very clear as Parliament that we want to engage on what the president wants to say. This matter, it involves all of us, and the public there is waiting to hear from political parties as well. Thank you, Speaker. That will be the contribution from the EFF.
Thank you very much. Member Jodina Ndate Julius.
Thank you very much,
Speaker, please.
Yes, I've also raised my
hand.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I think the first part of what Honourable Mkhaliphi have said is what I wanted to clarify. And the firm proposal is that the debate be scheduled for next week. In the light that there are changes on the medium-term budget policy speech, we can consider that date, the 21st, to have this debate in the House. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Daddy Julius?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. Mine is just, the chief whip of the majority party just indicated to us that it cannot happen today. Without providing reasons, we are providing reasons in our argument why it should be today, because this is Parliament and we need to be involved. But there are no reasons provided why we cannot have it today. It's just, it's taking us for granted. But the second part, Madam Speaker, is that the programming committee meetings, these can also be scheduled apart from Thursdays. We can have another meeting, an urgent meeting at the time where you need us to consider something from political parties in terms of the program. This was requested last week from the president. We have technology. There's no need to wait for Thursday. This is the day where we're discussing this issue, and it's happening today. It could really have been done earlier so that we can get more clarity and debate this thing further. Now we're sitting with the issue, and it's happening today at 2 o'clock. I think it could have been done a little bit better. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Ntate Kwangwa?
Speaker, we're going to repeat what has been said. And I think what is important is to capture the principle and say that I think there's agreement around the table that now that the president is going to address the House today, there should be an opportunity for political party to engage with whatever is going to put on the table. Because remember, it can't be as if he's going to deliver a sermon and then we just expect it to say amen and then adjourn the House and go home and start debates elsewhere, when the contestation, the platform for contestation of ideas is Parliament, right? But I think the other critical issue, it must be because we recognize that the solutions to South African problems aren't going to be found in one-sided economic dogma, if you like, or one-sided or monodimensional solutions. We would need to be able to engage with whatever proposal that is put on.
Are you done, Daddy? Honorable Nkwankwa, are you still on?
With the hope that at some point we'll be able. Yes, I'm still on.
We lost you at some point.
You lost me. No, I was saying the UDM is okay with the principle that we need to schedule a debate. Even if we don't schedule it today, it can be scheduled next week. But we can't have a situation where the president addresses us today and we don't get an opportunity to engage with whatever a document or plan is going to table in Parliament. We'll be abdicating our responsibility as Parliament to hold the executive to account. But also, I think what is critical is also understanding that solutions to South African problems aren't going to be found in one-sided economic dogma or plans. They need to be interrogated so that they can be influenced and amended as and when it's necessary.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, the President
Chairperson
called...
Honourable Speaker, it's Dr. Mulder speaking.
Dr. Mulder, please take the mic.
Myself and Mr. Papu has raised our hands on the system.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I must update my hand system. Please take the podium, Dade Mulder.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. No, I would like to start off. I was the one that first put this on the agenda at the Chief Whips Forum on Tuesday, because the reason was we saw on the program that it was scheduled for today, but there was no indication at that stage of any time allocation or any responses by political parties. Now, I first want to say I really welcome the fact that the Honourable President is coming to Parliament and called a joint sitting to address this issue. And I think we should welcome that he respects in that sense the institution of Parliament. But then I go back to what our Constitution says. Our Constitution says we in the National Assembly represent the people and our colleagues in the NCOP represent the provinces. So the President has decided to come to this institution where the people and the provinces are represented. And if I'm not mistaken, the President has called this joint session in terms of Section 84(2) D of the Constitution. And what does that section say? It says the President has the authority summoning the National Assembly, the National Council of Provinces of Parliament to an extraordinary sitting. To do what? The Constitution says to conduct special business. Now, clearly, it's not only the President that conducts that business, it's the House that needs to conduct that business. And I think it's very important that the President decided not to have a public press release or a media release in the union buildings. He decided to come to address the joint sitting of the houses. And that's why I said right from the beginning, we need clarity. And I thought the correct way would have been to immediately after the President spoke, to allow parties to give party responses. And the President being present would then obviously, if need be able to reply at the end of those responses. And I think that would be the right way to do it. It wasn't possible at the time, it seemed. It was said there will be some consultation. Mr. Papu correctly said it may be difficult for the President to schedule a debate next week. We don't know what the President's program is like. I understand that. But it can't be a situation where the President comes to address these two houses of Parliament and we are expected just to sit there and he leaves. It can't be like that. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Honourable Papu. Honourable Papu. The hand is still up.
Yes.
It's live on TV.
I think Mr. Julius, I don't think you should take him serious.
Honourable Papu, just continue with what you want to tell us.
I was saying there's no opposition to the discussion on the to have a discussion on the debate. Even with SONA, there's no debate on the same day. People go to the stairs there, they just speak out of the cuff and immediately, but there's a debate which follows. So I think the issue which must be looked at is between Tuesday and Wednesday, which one gets shifted to another, so that we don't have a situation where if there's a cabinet, there's a problem. But there has to be an agreement that either Tuesday or Wednesday, that debate has to take place. And I think that's what my understanding of the Chief Whip was saying. So in principle, there has to be a discussion on the debate, and it has to happen next week. So the issue is just today, quickly check which day, because I had a way of shifting something to Wednesday and the other one. So between those 2 days, I would suggest that, as the Chief Whip was saying, we actually consider that debate so that there is a discussion. Because anyway, there are no people who are going to speak on the stairs today. Because normally people go to the stairs like film stars and so on and speak there. But today it has to be virtual. Anyway, the debate will be better next week.
That's out of order, Madam Speaker. We don't go as film stars. We go there as political party representatives on a point of order.
It was on a softer note.
Your point is sustained, Honorable Papo. Parties and politicians have the right to vocalize.
Speaker, it was on a light note.
No, I hope so. But why would parties not become film stars today on the stairs after the president has concluded? I'm just asking. I think that we should come down and deal with this matter. I see Mema Jake's hand is up and Kaso's hand is up. May I take Mema Jake before you, Ndate Kaso?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Probably Ndate Kaso is going to be saying what I'm saying, because I was just thinking that we have actually noted the comments. And then maybe the 2 days that have actually been suggested will be taken to technical team so that we can look at what is possible, rather than want to come out of this meeting with an exact date. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Ndate Kaso?
Madam Speaker, just on two issues. If the debate next week, the program committee would need to decide whether the two houses would meet individually. In other words, the NA would meet and debate the matter on its own. I was just trying to establish from the NCOP its availability for next week. I think I had heard previously that they may not be available next week on Wednesday. So I'm just saying, ma'am, because there won't be another opportunity for this committee to meet, a decision could be taken that the NA would proceed next week, Wednesday, with the debate on the matter, its own debate on the matter, and the NCOP could debate it in its own time in terms of its mandate. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, no. Thank you, honorable members. I think that Section 84(2) doesn't preclude the president to come and talk to us about this weighty matter of the economy. I do think that we should then agree that there shall be a debate on this matter. Now, none of us know what the president is going to tell us sitting in this meeting. So that is why I'm saying I would rather members say we shall treat it like we treat the State of the Nation address. Parties will have whatever on the cuff thing that they usually do, but that we shall then have a very considered debate on the matter on a date that we should agree to. I would have been happier, members, if we were more specific with the date arising out of today's programming, so that members can then go into this afternoon ready to debate on that particular date. Of course, we've not consulted with the NCOP, the availability between the chairperson of the NCOP and myself, but that can be arranged. If what Ndate Kaso says, that maybe at an administrative level they have consulted, then we should see what would suit us best, whether we go it alone as the NA, or whether we actually try and plead with the NCOP for a joint debate on this matter. But I do think that we do owe parties the chance to formally respond to whatever it is that the president will put before us today. So let us discuss and look at that date positively, which will enable us all to prepare for the debate. And so I think we should schedule for a meeting of consultation as soon as possible with the NCOP on the matter. That does not mean that the NA cannot look at a possible date that we can utilize. Are we agreed on that? I think Member Jordina had proposed that we take the date which was previously meant for the Minister of Finance. That's the 21st.
Yes, Honourable Speaker.
What say you, honourable members?
Honourable Speaker, it's Singh here. I think that would be okay if the Wednesday. I know we're going to take a decision on Wednesday, but I think it will be okay if we engage on Wednesday. Thank you. In a debate with the President. Thank you.
Okay.
Madam Speaker, it's Natasha.
Yes, ma'am, Azan.
Madam Speaker, I think that certainly that I and my party, and I think that the South African public as a whole, would be far more comfortable knowing that we have set a firm date in which parties will have the opportunity to engage this. And I think, Madam Speaker, we would be doing ourselves a disservice if we leave this particular programming meeting without deciding firmly on the date of the 21st. Madam Speaker, I have seen things happen in Parliament when the need arises at the drop of a hat. And given the fact that our country is in the economic crisis it is in, there is absolutely nothing in any house that could be more important than debating and discussing the state of our national economy. And Madam Speaker, I would therefore respectfully ask you to please let us confirm the date now of the 21st of October to be the date that parties debate the announcement and discussions that the President has with Parliament today. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Member Otto?
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, firstly, the President has asked for a joint sitting. And in my view, I think it would be good that we have a joint sitting when we respond. Secondly, the President has got a diary, and we don't know of the President's diary on that day. We all wish to be there, and we all wish that this happens, that responses are made, but can we firstly check, especially with the President's diary, because I believe when the responses are made, he has to be whether virtual or in hybrid to listen to the responses. And to say we must come out of this meeting today with a date now, it would be a bit unfair. Maybe let's hasten the process of consultation and try to get the responses by today. Thank you, Chief Speaker.
Thank you very much. I think the feeling is that if we can't come out with a date today, right now, at least by close of business today, we should be having a date. Earlier on, somebody suggested that we look at two alternate dates. My own feeling would be that whatever the dates, they must definitely be in the same week, which we can then proffer as alternates.
Thank you,
I
Speaker.
see Ndate Singh and Ndate Papo.
Swat Chair as well, Speaker.
Ndate Swat. Next. Yeah. I see you too, ma'am. Ndate Singh, you've got the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Honourable Speaker. I think you've dealt with the matter sufficiently in terms of the seriousness of us and the necessity for us to debate. When I look at the program that I have in front of me for the NCOP, I note that on Tuesday it's a briefing by the Statistician General from 10 to 2. And then on Wednesday, it is a Women's Charter Review session of the City of Johannesburg. So we can't speak for them, but I just thought I'll bring that to the attention of us, that is their program for Tuesday and Wednesday. And I agree that the President will have to be consulted on either of the days, but I think through the Parliamentary Council, the President himself will also realize that there is nothing more important for us to discuss in this country than the economic recovery. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Papo.
I just wanted to indicate that I think the principle of the debate has been established. The issue is whether the president from 3 o'clock next week, because the Wednesday sittings on 3 o'clock will be available. If not, then another day, as you were saying, 2 dates, and then be established and finalized today. The issue of appealing to the NCOP to be part of the debate should also be considered, because it will be better if it's a joint debate. But it's not a must, but it will be better because the president will be addressing a joint sitting today. The issue of how to juggle the program next week so that the NCOP is represented in the debate becomes even more important. I thought I should make that point.
Thank you very much. Ma'am Kalipi?
Speaker, if I may ask, with due respect to you, yesterday when we discussed this matter, and we were told that the Babu Kaso is going to come back to us, and indeed he came after the discussion took place between the presiding officers. Why didn't the Speaker's office check with the President for the date of the debate? Why are we starting all over again as if this matter was tabled for the first time? Because it was going to be very easy if yesterday there was a consultation with the president and check with all those things that members are raising it here. Because now we find ourselves in a situation whereby we don't have a date, and it's very important. So if I may ask that question to you, Speaker, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Swart.
That is Swart.
No, thank you, Speaker. I just wanted to make the comment that as of yesterday, or before the consultations, Wednesday, the 21st of October, was scheduled for the medium-term budget policy statement, which would have been a joint sitting of both houses. So all indications, then we received a letter from the minister asking for a postponement of that day, the Minister of Finances. So all indications should be that both the NCOP and the NA should have scheduled as of yesterday, the 21st of October, for a joint sitting. And the president, as of yesterday, should have been available for that as well. So I appreciate that obviously things might have changed overnight, but that was the initial programming. So there shouldn't be a major problem with having the joint sitting next week, the 21st of October, which I, from our party, will support, given the importance, as many other speakers have referred to this, of the economic issues facing the nation. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Ntate Shivambu. Honorable Shivambu.
Well, I'm here, Speaker. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I'm saying that MTBPS is not a joint sitting. It's a sitting of the National Assembly that is presented, but that is not what I'm raising. I don't think that the scheduling that we're dealing with now must be based on the availability of the president. We must take a decision that there's going to be a debate next week, Thursday, and inform the president that because you asked us to convene today, we are asking you to come next week, Thursday, to part of the debate. I don't think that we must listen to what Hope is saying of saying we must do the rescheduling because of the availability of the president and all of those things there. Because we have to, every time we talk about scheduling, keep in mind that Parliament is an autonomous institution which has got its own powers. We can't every time be tiptoeing around the executive in terms of how we then deal with scheduling. They've got an obligation to account to Parliament. Even this thing of postponement of MTBPS, which just happens like that, must not be that easy for the executive to just change around things. It must not work like that. They must have respect for the institution. But if we're not respecting ourselves, they will continue to disrespect us. That is why when there's a decision that there must be a debate, someone says that no, let us tiptoe, let us check if the president is available. If he's not available, we must then postpone the whole thing. Unavailable for what? What will we be doing? Because his obligations includes being part of the parliamentary engagement. So let's conclude on this thing and say that the president must come to be part of the engagement next week, Thursday, and then we'll take it from there.
Thank you. Say, Mebroto, you are back. Mebroto.
No, Speaker, I wanted to correct the Swart on the joint sitting for the MTPF. And then now that Mr. Shibambu is talking about Thursday, when we actually were proposing Wednesday, if the programming is going to tell us that the MTPF has been postponed. I just wanted to correct that. Thanks.
Thank you. Ntate Hope, I see your hand.
Julius?
No, Speaker, I was not talking about postponing next week. I was talking more of the availability of the NCOP because he is addressing the joint sitting today. So it was not about the president. That's why I said it will be far better to do it on Wednesday at 3 o'clock. But the issue of it was not based on the availability it was more the availability of engaging the NCOP to be available, because I think it will be far better to have a joint debate. So it's not about the executive, it's more about the availability of the NCOP.
Ntate Julius, Ntate Kwangwa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to make a formal proposal that the President come to the joint sitting on Thursday, the 21st, or Wednesday, sorry, the 21st of October at 3 o'clock. And we look at the program of the NCOP, whether they are available. So a formal proposal. I don't think it should be treated as the tail dog, wagging the dog here. The President has an obligation to come to Parliament. He asked us to address us, and we agreed. And it was, all of us said yes. The President may agree, address us, and it's only fair that the President avail his time to listen to us also. I don't think it should be a soliloquy that the President will come and speak and nothing happens. The time shouldn't be affected. The President must come. We have technology. Wherever the President is, he can avail time and go online and do this debate. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The last point is what I was going to say exactly, that the NCOP and the President in that debate do not have to be physically in the House. We are hybriding, and we can also do that debate hybriding as usual. I've got Ntate Kwangwa. Ntate Kwangwa. The mic is on, but the voice is not coming through.
He's live.
Yeah, maybe he's live. And so you had your hand and then you withdrew it. Do you still want to take the floor?
No, ma'am. I think the point has been clarified. It was about the MTPPS being a joint sitting. It's not.
It's not a joint sitting. But let's do this. Can we undertake to finalize this thing before we sit this afternoon? On whether it is Wednesday or Thursday. Two members have brought in Thursday, but there was a firm proposal on the table also for Wednesday, the 21st. So can we just agree that one of these days we definitely are having this debate and close this matter?
Yes, yes, Honourable Speaker. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Can we do that, honourable members? If we are agreed that before we sit for 2 o'clock today, that matter has been firmed up, we can then proceed to the next item, please.
Comrade Speaker.
Okay. The next item, parliamentary program. Or am I wrong?
You are correct, Madam Speaker.
You're correct.
Yes. Mayor Majake, please. Ma'am Majake.
Sorry, my mic was not on. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The program is on the screen. It's our fourth term program. What I will do for the purpose of the meeting, I will just look at the month that we are actually in now and not go to the next month. This is a program that stretches from the 6th of October to 27th of November. We are now on week number 29, being Thursday, the 15th of October. After programming, we'll have caucus by political parties, and at 14 hours, we'll have the joint sitting of Parliament. And the main business of the day is addressed by the President of South Africa on economic reconstruction and recovery plan. Friday, the 16th of October, we have Youth Parliament Interactive Session. The week that follows is week number 30. Monday, the 19th of October is Constituency Day. Tuesday, the 20th of October, we have plenary. We have between 10 and 12:45, we've got committees first, and then followed by plenary at 2 o'clock. Our plenaries continue to be hybrid, and that will be for the business as listed. Wednesday, the 21st of October, 9 to 12:45 is committees. At 10 o'clock, we'll have Chief Whip's Forum. At 15 hours, it's plenary, and it's written there, committee reports, but we have actually also noted the discussion of today. This is the date that was supposed to have been the medium-term budget statement presentation that has been postponed to the 28th. Thursday, the 22nd of October, at 8:30, we have programming committee meeting. At 10, we have multi-party women's caucus up to 13 hours. At 14 hours, we have plenary up to 17 hours. And the main business of the day will be questions to the Deputy President. Friday, the 23rd of October, it's committees, and the week that follows is week number 31. And Monday, the 26th of October, is Constituency Day. Tuesday, the 27th of October, between 10 and 12:45 is committees. At 14 hours, we have plenary for business as listed. Wednesday, the 28th of October, at 9 up to 12:45, we have committees. At 10 is Chief Whip's Forum, and the medium-term expenditure, the medium-term budget policy statement will be presented by the Minister of Finance at 2 o'clock up to 15 hours. Thursday, the 29th of October, 8:30, we have programming committee meeting. At 10 o'clock up to 13 hours, we've got multi-party women's caucus. At 14 hours, we have plenary, and the main business of the day will be questions for oral reply, cluster 3 governance. Friday, the 30th of October, we've got committees. That will be the end of our month, and the constituency period stretches from the 3rd of December to the 11th of December, with leave starting from the 14th of December to January. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Members, floor.
Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Ndate Singh, Ndate Kwangwa, Mem Kalipi.
Thank you very much to Honorable Majake for the presentation. But perhaps next week at the Chief Whip's Forum, Madam Speaker, we should see what impact the shifting of the MTBPS is going to have on the sitting of committees and the overall session of Parliament. We perhaps might have to end later than has been scheduled, but I don't think that's something that we need to discuss today.
Thank you very much. And Tate Kwangwa. Honorable Kwangwa. May I take Honorable Mkalipi whilst Tate Kwangwa is still struggling? Ma'am Khalid.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Speaker. I just want to raise something in terms of the program of Parliament for your attention, Speaker. Speaker, since the IEC is insisting that 2021 local government elections will go ahead as planned, political parties might want to start with preparations, even if just to put on the paper for their program. So, Speaker, I just want to get a sense from the program as when can the Parliament or as members of political parties in this Parliament can be prepared for a long recess for sake of these elections. Even the committees in Parliament, if they can also have this clue in terms of the program to accommodate the elections that will take place in 2021, they can also have a clue how to also to rearrange their committee programs. So I just want to put that to you and the programming whip, because I can see that there's nothing that is mentioned in terms of elections, while we are all expected to go and campaign for our political parties. I think I should just bring that to your attention as a food for thought, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you on that food for thought point. Ndate Kwankwa, are you back? Okay. And Ndate Kaso?
Madam Speaker, I think on the issue raised by Honorable Mkalipi, that is a matter for the Joint Program Committee. And I think when the Joint Program Committee is scheduled, the issue of the framework going into next year will then be clarified. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Ma'am Kalipi, this is where we can take it for now. Whether the joint programming will then give us guidance on this matter. It seems to me that those dates, the Wednesday, Thursday, the Thursday is questions to the Deputy President, and the committee is scheduled for the 21st at 15 hours would have been, I think, programming committee trying to trying to utilize the 21st of October as it fell open with the shifting of the MTBS. And therefore, it seems to me that we should really be looking at the 21st of October for that debate. I do know that it is Cabinet Day, but I think that the best option for us to do so, I am loath to interfere with the dates for the questions, because we then do not know when the next available date would be for the Deputy President to come into the House and to respond. I'm also loath to have two definitely important items on the agenda on the same day. That is the questions to the Deputy President and the economy of the country. So, as I say, let us go in, confer with the NCOP on the 21st of October, and then come back to you to confirm it before 2 o'clock. I think that is, for me, I would be loath to interfere with the date already set and confirmed for Deputy President's questions. Is there any other member who wishes to interact with the item on the draft program? None? So we can go on to the item on announcements. Honorable members, I might just want to say this on this platform, and I will do it formally. In the last few months, the speakers of Africa have been talking. Myself, the Speaker of Nigeria, the Speaker of Kenya, we started talking about Africa, all of it, for the first time in we don't know how long, being in recession because of the impact of COVID-19. We acknowledged that the President of South Africa, as chair of the AU, had actually pushed for and gotten some debt suspension for 2 years. But we went deeper and said, but what impact does it have on those countries? In other words, we're not looking at Nigeria or South Africa or Kenya. We're looking at the economies of Africa and how this whole COVID and the recession is going to affect the progress of the African Free Trade Zone. We then decided that it wasn't a matter for the 3 countries, and we started talking to all the regions of Africa on this matter. And therefore, the speakers of Ghana, the speakers of Rwanda have joined us. We are in the process of talking to all the other speakers in all the regions on this matter. We want to start a process which will look at debt. And for weeks we've been going to and fro with others saying, no, let us just call for debt postponement and debt suspension. And we're saying that it is the same thing. We will negotiate. If we fail to get total debt cancellation, at least we will then be able to go to the other forms of relief, just to give African countries a chance to rebuild their economies after this COVID. So I just thought I should say this to you, especially to the whips, so that when you see me running around you on the platforms, you don't think that I'm just doing my thing there. We think it is important. We will be addressing this matter in SADC. We do know that there are countries in Africa who can service their debts after COVID, but we do know that other countries will be in deep trouble. So I just thought that I should make that announcement to all of you. We have a logo, we have an accountability pledge, because we are saying if we are going around and doing this, all those countries will be under strict monitoring, that we do not talk about debt cancellation and then people leave, that the monies that they will have will be channeled to the development of the people of the ground and not us, the politician, or some other elaborate projects that we might dream of. So it is not that cancellation or suspension that says that then you can use the resources to do all other things. No, we want it channeled into the people. I just thought I should say these few words to you, honorable members. I do not have any other announcement. Does anybody else have any announcement? None. I therefore thank you very much and close this today's NAPC. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Speaker.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Speaker. See you later.
Thank you.
Speaker.
Speaker.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
And good to see you, Madam Speaker. Bye-bye.